Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Mindy, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create a subtle background for your oversized word dies. I will be starting with this stamp set from Waffle Flower Crafts. This is the Blossoms stamp set. You can see it is a very large floral image, and that is what I'm going to use to create this subtle background. So I started off by loading that into my MISTI. I am using a piece of Innocent Pink cardstock. You can see it is a very large piece that I'm using. This is 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. I will prep this with an anti-static powder tool because I'm going to be doing some heat embossing. Then using the Versamark ink, I'm going to ink this image up really well. And if you're not sure of the coverage, you can always stamp over it twice, which is one of the great benefits of using a MISTI tool. So once that is inked up, I'll close the door and just give that some nice even pressure all around. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some of this sparkle embossing powder. This is one of my favorite embossing powders, because it is clear with just a touch of sparkle. Now, if you wanted, you could just leave that image inked up onto the cardstock. That gives kind of a watermark effect. But by heat embossing, it does darken the image a little bit, but it has a beautiful sparkle to it. So here's a close-up image of that. And it's got a beautiful shine, a lot of sparkle to it. You can really see the details in this image. Now, one of the reasons that I had stamped this onto a larger piece of cardstock is I'm going to use the A2 size layering die from Waffle Flower. This is such a great versatile set. I am able to line up that die and choose what part of the image I want included. So once I have that lined up, I'm going to hold that in place with some purple tape and run that through my die cut machine. And now I want to soften this up a little bit. So I am taking some pigment ink, white pigment ink, and I'm going to ink blend in the center of that. So you're still going to see this image, but it's going to soften that up just a little bit, and you will still see the sparkle. Then I'm taking a rag and I'm just buffing off that ink from over the heat embossed area. And I'm going to add this to a piece of craft foam to give this a little bit of dimension on my card, just using some liquid glue to attach that. I do have a piece of craft foam here that I trimmed down to the same size. I'll give that a good push down, and then I'm going to put something heavy on it for a while I work on my die cutting. This is the Oversized Love You word die from Waffle Flower Crafts. I die cut it out of gold glitter cardstock and white cardstock. And before I attach any of the words together, I want to finish putting my card front together. So I'm adding some of that liquid glue to the craft foam and attaching that to a piece of 4.25 by 5.5 inch white cardstock to just frame that up a little bit. Now I can work on attaching my die cut word. So I'm starting with the gold glitter cardstock. This is going to be kind of a shadow to my word. So I'm using the liquid glue on the background of that word die and attaching it right down to my card front. You can see it covers an entire panel. I'm a big fan of these oversized words. I think they're just gorgeous. And then I'm also going to add that liquid glue to the back of the white that I die cut, and add that on top and just shift it over a little bit. So it's giving it just kind of a golden sparkle shadow, if that makes sense. It looks absolutely gorgeous in person. So that finishes off the card. I'm not going to add any other sentiment. I think this is great to take some of those larger images, still be able to use them in your card, but not make them the focal point. I will have all of my supplies listed down below in the video description and over on my blog as well. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I'll see you next time.